Good morning and welcome to Inspiring Courage podcast. We have the lovely Gill Cooke here with us this morning. Thank you for joining me, Gill.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Vafa. It's brilliant to be here.
Not at all. It's my pleasure. I've been meaning to speak to you for ages, and we first met, I want to say, back in December of last year. I attended one of your, or maybe even November, slightly earlier, I attended one of your STEM Connects events. And I loved what you did. I loved the community that you had built and the diverse range of people I met there. And I thought, oh God, this lady is amazing. So we just connected there. And then we met up later on at another event. And then we kind of spoke at length. And then we've been in touch ever since. And I just love what you do in promoting the love of STEM in youngsters and also diversity and inclusion, because that's one of your new projects, although it has always weaved into the work that you've done in the past, but I believe that's something that you are embracing more latterly. Can I leave you to tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and what you are doing at the moment to promote that in schools and in the youth?
Yeah, thanks, Vafa. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. So first of all, talk about inspiring women and girls into STEM. I was delighted this morning because I've just been named 100 Tech Women 2020.
Congratulations.
Thank you, by We Are Tech Women. So that's a really good opportunity to talk about inspiration, but also to talk about championing and cheerleading as well. So I think, women aren't good enough at celebrating not only themselves, but also each other. So one of the things I really try to do in STEM Connects, which is my network for minorities in STEM, in science, technology, engineering and maths, is we really try and champion and cheerlead people. So if I hear about something, or if I hear about a success, I either message them and encourage them to talk about it themselves, or I call it out for them. Because I just, it's all about having each other's backs. It's about inspiring each other and just celebrating and not feeling bad about being proud of something that you've achieved. I think that's really, really important. And I think, I don't want young girls to be brought up thinking, I don't want to boast, that's bragging. And actually being confident and being proud of something that you have worked hard and achieved is something that absolutely should be celebrated. So I'm very proud to say that I've been named 100 Women in Tech. And why shouldn't I be? Because actually by doing that, I am now an inspiration for other people, and they will look at me and go, oh, well, if she can do it, then why can't I, sort of type thing. And I think the other thing is, I talk about a lot is around, actually being a woman in tech or a minority in tech. People don't necessarily identify themselves as techies. I'm not a techie, I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, but that doesn't mean that I'm not part of that number. Because I'm historically a project manager, but I worked in TV for 10 years. So I did modern European history at university. I would never have imagined that I would be here, not only running a network for women in STEM and minorities in STEM, but also working for a telecoms company, which I've done now for over 10 years, leading the Women in Tech group. I'm also a committee member of the BAME and Allies group. I'm also a committee member of the Diversity, Inclusion and Belonging Steering Committee at 3 as well. So all of that makes me a woman in tech. It makes me someone that is one of those numbers, the up to 17% of women in the tech industry. But that number needs to grow. And so what we want to do is we want to inspire young girls and go, you know what, I don't have to do computer engineering. I don't have to do IT to become a woman in tech. Every single role in the future will have a technical or a digital aspect of it. So actually, I'd go so far as arguing that we're all in tech. We're all in some level of STEM. And if you go for STEAM, which is adding the arts into that, then actually that's kind of all careers. I can't think of a career that doesn't incorporate that. Everything incorporates technology or some level of science or some level of maths, some level of arts, and some level of, what was the one I've missed out? Maths, engineering.
Engineering.
You know what I mean? So actually, that's actually what we all are. So I actually sort of think, well, is that number really accurate? Because actually, technology is the future, and we're all women in tech. So that's what I was thinking about.
And that's how you've gone to do even more, haven't you, with diversity and inclusion that you've brought into it?
Yeah, so you are, I mean, it's interesting to think, as I said, it wasn't something that I thought I would be, it wasn't something I aspired to be even. But when I moved into tech, what I did notice, especially coming out of TV, which was quite diverse in a very different way, was that I did notice the lack of women. And I did notice the lack of, just the lack of ethnic diversity as well, actually. And so I really just wanted to do something about it. I've got 2 young girls, and I just thought, you know what, I want them to know that they can do anything they want to. I've always been a feminist. I'm not shy of saying that, but a feminist doesn't mean we hate men. If anything, I want to rise women up to the same level as men, and minorities as well. It doesn't mean that we want to put men down, and that is really, really important. It's not saying that white middle-aged men are bad. Everyone has a uniqueness about them, but it's about bringing the mix in so that it's not all one, and it could be, you know, it shouldn't be all one minority anyway either. It should be a diverse mix. Only through a diverse workforce and a diverse mix are you ever going to be able to deliver products and be innovative and deliver things that are fit for purpose for our customers. Because like it or not, our customers are diverse. All of our customers are diverse. You know, we are a multicultural globe. You know, it's not just in one country. We are multicultural. We nearly all products are globally available, and therefore, you know, we have to be delivering stuff for our customers, and they have to be accessible to everyone as well, and inclusive to everyone. So it's only through having that in your team will you get that innovative, you'll get that, you know, it's good to challenge each other. If you all agree with each other, then that's just boring. So challenging, but being tolerant and respectful is really, really important. So that's why it's so important for diversity to exist in all workplaces. And not only diversity is just literally the fact and the mix, but inclusion and belonging. And we're a long way away from that. Like, we're still a long way away from, you know, women being equal. We're still a long way from, you know, the ethnicity pay gap. I'm desperate for that to come in, because, you know, that won't be looked at properly until that comes in. Even with the gender pay gap and all companies having to report against gender, still hasn't got to the point where we should be. But it's a start, and we need that legislation to help us get forward and move forward, because we need that support network, that legislation to move things forward in society as well as in companies. So that's why diversity is so important. It's always been part of my DNA even. I was brought up in Africa, I've lived in France, I've had a very diverse background. I studied Arabic and Islam at SOAS. So it's always been part of my DNA, but really, I suppose, as well as the women in tech, as well as the sort of, you know, the driving and trying to go into schools and inspiring and championing STEM, but also diversity in STEM, I think has really been a bit of a journey for me. And I would say that has sort of accumulated in the last 3 years, where really it's become not only a journey, but a passion, a calling, a purpose. It's what gets me up in the morning, you know, being able to talk to people, inspire people, help people, whether that's helping people back into work, or, you know, helping them with their CVs, or going into schools and doing mock interviews, talking about roles in STEM. I also sit on a couple of think tanks and advisory boards. So I just really want to make the world a better place. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but if we all just do our little bit, then hopefully that will make the difference, won't it?
Yes, I love your energy. There's so many things you've spoken about, and I didn't want to interrupt you because I just wanted, yeah, that to flow. But you're right in what you say, in that taking it to school and promoting that is one of the most important things. That's what I like doing too with my NLP hat on. I like to take my workshops to school so that through exercise, through fun, through play, people realize to celebrate the differences. First of all, it's being aware of the differences in everybody else, being aware of the reason that people are different, you know, in the way that we learn we're different, in the way we perceive the world we're different. We all have our unique maps and unique way of understanding the world and each other. And unless that is taught, and unfortunately the syllabus doesn't teach that, unless that's taught, when people are learned to, are taught to just embrace each other's differences, because as you say, we are stronger because of those differences. And that's the message that I'd like to drive through as well. So you're right in that if we do try and if we succeed just a little bit, each of us a little bit, kind of compounds into an awful lot. And as I said, I love your energy, Jill, because you are a full-time employee, you are a mother, you run a home, and you do all of these fabulous things along the way as well. So that again, I guess means that there's no such thing as I don't have time, because there are so many people who say, I'd love to do something else, I don't have time. And I'm kind of talking about the people that come to me particularly when they're kind of unhappy in their jobs. And, you know, when we start talking about, right, what would you like to do? And let's put the steps in, oh, I don't have time to do that. And, you know, depends on what you're passionate about and what you want to invest your time in. Everybody has time to invest in themselves. First and foremost, I believe in themselves, to just understand what it is that they like. And as you said rightly, you've always kind of been into this field, but you haven't realized it. It's always been interwoven into what you've done. But now this has come up as a new project for you. And on the subject of women not kind of realizing their own strengths and not being forthcoming in saying what they feel and what they think, one of my favorite authors, Glennon Doyle, talks about this. And she's got son and daughter, and she says that her house is always filled with children because they're teenagers. When she comes home and she finds a bunch of children in the house, she asks, you know, what would you like? The boys would immediately say pizza, and the girls say, oh, we don't mind, whatever. So, and she says, you know, why is it that boys are very good at actually putting their opinion forward, and girls will not say what they want? And I always encourage them to say, no, not whatever, you know, if you want something different to the boys, I'll make it something different. So it's about promoting that in our children, to say, please, you know, choicefulness. That's what I promote in my son and my nephew, choicefulness. Be comfortable with respectfully communicating your wishes, even if they are different to somebody else's. So that respectful communication is really, really important. Because let me tell you something, if you don't choose for yourself, other people will choose for you. And it's always best if you are the decision maker, because you know what you want, you know what you like, you know what you want. So that's the message that I have for the youth. Please take that kind of, you know, self-leadership and understand what you want first and foremost, and not be shy about stating it. I love talking to you, Jill. I can talk to you forever, and hopefully we'll be able to actually do some of these projects together, take some of these projects to school together, because I think from both sides it could be super if you could drive the message forward.
I think I was going to say, I think that's really important. So one of the other things that I really champion is collaboration. So, you know, we're all trying to do the same thing or trying to do similar things. And women especially, you know, women help other women rise. I'm a big believer of that, a big supporter. So, you know, I always try and I'm collaborating all the time. And I love working with different people and hearing about, you know, what they're doing. And usually I'm like, oh my God, they're so amazing. You know, why can I have done that when I was 20 or something like that? And the other thing is, you know, I think there's a massive myth about Generation Z and the millennials about being, you know, lazy, and, you know, expecting things to come to them. Totally and utterly disagree. Totally and utterly disagree. My children and most of their friends and all the young people I speak to are massively inspiring. They know what they want. I mean, how awesome is that? They want to go out and achieve there. There's so many entrepreneurs that I meet in their 20s. It's like, wow, that's amazing. The confidence, just the, I just think they're awesome. And I think it's brilliant because they actually are not prepared to put up with things, and they are prepared to say what they want. And that is exactly what we're aiming for. So let's not put them down for doing that. Let's not put them down for having an opinion and for striving for something that they believe passionately in. And also, I hope that they will do something about the environment that we haven't done. My generation hasn't done a good enough job. So, my daughter's so passionate about, the environment and doing something, and she holds us to account, which I welcome. That's what we should be doing, and we should be helping children with their confidence, especially now, with their resilience, and their self-confidence as well, and their self-awareness, because it's not an easy world to be growing up in right now. So that's the other reason why I really want to just sort of inspire and champion the future generations, because let's face it, they're the ones who are going to be taking us forward in this world.
I always say they're the future guardians of our planet, aren't they?
They are. Yes.
We have to look after them so that they can look after the rest. Thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I look forward to talking to you again, Jill.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. Thanks, Vafa. Speak to you soon.